Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal Part 171 based on novel. So let's start. A large formation was built above the vast desert on the northwestern side of planet Qingling with celestial jades. Wang Lin sat down in the center of the formation and cultivated. Every time he took a breath, he would absorb a large amount of celestial spiritual energy into his body. This repeated again and again. The celestial spiritual energy in his body was slowly condensing. The peak of the late stage of ascendant was not something unattainable for cultivators, but it was still a step only a few could take. The reason was not domain or celestial jades but origin energy. If the origin energy fused into one's origin soul was insufficient when they reached the ascendant stage, then even if they could reach the ascendant stage, they would never reach the peak. At the same time, even if one gathered enough origin energy but suffered injuries to their origin soul, causing them to lose their precious origin energy that was fused with their origin soul, then they wouldn't be able to reach the peak. It could be said that origin energy was the key to reaching the peak of the first step of cultivation. Adding on the fact that ascendant cultivators couldn't absorb origin energy from the world to recover, it was natural that not many could reach the peak. After Wang Lin cultivated inside the Thunder Lake, he reached the limit of origin energy his origin soul could hold and reached the most basic requirement. As his domain was refined, it helped drive his cultivation. He slowly stepped toward peak of the late stage of ascendant as he absorbed celestial spiritual energy. However, the amount of celestial spiritual energy required to reach the peak of first step was a terrifying amount. After absorbing for a year, Wang Lin used up all of the celestial jades. He then took out the celestial liquid and drank it without any hesitation. The celestial liquid entered his body along with a powerful sense of drunkenness. Wang Lin's body gave off a white mist. This white mist contained the scent of wine and spread across the area. At the same time, the celestial liquid gave off a large amount of celestial spiritual energy inside Wang Lin's body. It was like a powerful force that was rapidly pushing his cultivation toward peak of the late stage of ascendant. To complete with just a thought and celestial spiritual energy moved along with one's aura. This was the description for the peak of the late stage of ascendant. One's domain was complete without a single flaw and a firm Tao heart. The body was filled with celestial spiritual energy, and it felt like even one's aura was filled with celestial spiritual energy. Wang Lin reached the peak of the late stage of ascendant 19 years and 8 months after he arrived on planet Qingling. All the celestial jades within countless kilometers of Wang Lin turned to dust when he broke through. Grass started growing out from the deserted land, and it was now filled with life. Wang Lin slowly opened his eyes, which contained the heavens. After 1,000 years of cultivation, I finally reached completion. Wang Lin let out a breath of relief and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Looking back to those 1,000 years, he was once merely a little person at the Hengyu sect, but at this moment, he was at the peak of the first step and had even surpassed Zhuqiuzi. This was something no one on planet Suzaku could have expected. Wang Lin didn't get up but touched his bag of holding and a golden celestial brush appeared in his hand. Wang Lin held it in his hand and began drawing before him as if his hands were dancing. His previous limit was 7 strokes. Now he completed 7 strokes in one breath and then drew one more to complete the 8th stroke. The dazzling light from the runes was enough to take one's mind. The power of 8 strokes is one level above 7 strokes. Wang Lin's eyes were peaceful. Right now he looked more like a scholar than a cultivator. When he put away the brush, the rune disappeared. The divine sense split into the runes returned to Wang Lin's body. Wang Lin stood up, took a step forward, and disappeared without a trace. Half a month later, a bolt of thunder left planet Qingling and went straight into the sky. Wang Lin sat on the back of the thunder beast with his eyes closed and remained silent. All of the cultivators on planet Qingling raised their heads. Along with the respect in their eyes, they also relaxed a bit. It was as if that invisible pressure gradually disappeared as Wang Lin left. Before leaving, Wang Lin picked all of the celestial ascension fruits that had grown during these 10 years. Also, another wave of resentment had gathered. With this additional resentment, the underworld river soul was showing signs of awakening. Thunder streaked across the stars and Wang Lin left planet Qinglin after living there for 20 years. This place was his cave. After obtaining a thunder furnace, he would come back here, as entering the thunder celestial realm from here would be safer. As the thunderbolt rushed through space, Wang Lin opened his eyes and began to ponder. If he wanted to go to the thunder celestial realm, he would need a thunder furnace. Without it, there would be no way to enter the thunder celestial realm. Wang Lin naturally knew this. However, the All-Heaven star system was different from the Alliance star system. The furnaces were not randomly dispersed. For some unknown reason, they all appeared together inside the Thunder Celestial Temple. The Thunder Celestial Temple would then assign a set amount to each cultivation family. Now there were only 3 months until the Thunder Celestial Realm would open. This was when all the families would obtain their thunder furnaces. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he made a decision. Since I don't have a thunder furnace, let's just steal one. Wang Lin's right hand lightly patted the Thunder Beast's head. The Thunder Beast let out a roar as if it was enjoying it. In truth, if he searched for Shengonghu, he could get one from him. However, Shengonghu's cultivation was too powerful. If they met too often, Shengonghu might see through him, so unless it was important, Wang Lin didn't want to look for that person. Not every cultivator that entered the Thunder Celestial Realm had entered the second step. After all, there weren't many second step cultivators. Most cultivators were between the soul transformation and ascendant stages. At the southern domain of the All-Heaven star system, with the help of the jade that Shengonghu left behind, Wang Lin found a cultivation planet. Wang Lin didn't bother to check the name of the 2 families. Every time the Thunder Celestial Realm opened, the 2 families here would obtain 1 or 2 furnaces. More importantly, neither of the 2 families had someone beyond the peak of the late stage of ascendant. After arriving on the cultivation planet, Wang Lin scanned it with his divine sense. He found that the 2 heads of the 2 cultivation families weren't there. He drifted among the stars as he closed his eyes and cultivated. Time slowly passed. 1 month before the Thunder Celestial Realm opened, more than 10 rays of light came toward Wang Lin like meteors. Among the 10+ cultivators, one of them was at the illusory yin stage, while the others varied between the ascendant stage and soul transformation stage. They moved very fast but suddenly stopped in the distance as their gazes fell on Wang Lin. The cultivator at the illusory yin stage was an old man who had silver hair and his eyes were shining. There wasn't much origin energy inside his body and the origin energy that was present wasn't very stable yet. It was obvious that he had just reached the illusory yin stage not long ago. He stepped forward as he carefully looked at Wang Lin and his eyes revealed a look of uncertainty. The old man asked, "Why has this Lord Messenger come to planet Zhengtan?" Wang Lin opened his eyes and frowned indiscernibly. His eyes were calm as he slowly asked, "Did you all come back from picking the thunder furnaces?" The old man's expression changed and he said, "That's correct." "What does Lord Messenger want?" "Please speak." Wang Lin calmly said, "I need a thunder furnace." The old man looked at Wang Lin for a long time and then laughed. His laughter contained a hint of arrogance. His eyes lit up and he shouted, "During this trip to the Thunder Celestial Temple, I heard some rumors of someone posing as messenger of the Thunder Celestial Temple. Originally, I thought it was absurd, but today after seeing you, this old man has determined that you are a fake." "Oh." Wang Lin's expression remained neutral as he calmly looked at the old man. The old man sneered. "Which messenger of the Thunder Celestial Temple doesn't have a lot of subordinate families? Obtaining a thunder furnace would be extremely simple. Moreover, I have met all the messengers in the southern domain, but you are extremely unfamiliar. More importantly, all of the messengers are gathered at the Thunder Celestial Temple. Until the Thunder Celestial Realm opens, they won't come out." Wang Lin nodded and no longer wasted time with this nonsense. The shadow behind him moved and the Celestial Guard appeared. With one step, it immediately charged out and threw a punch. This punch contained a large amount of sonic booms as it charged toward the old man. The old man's expression changed. He thought that Wang Lin was only at the peak of the late stage of ascendant. He even thought that the Thunder Beast under Wang Lin was fake. He never would have expected Wang Lin to have such a puppet. After a cold snort, The old man formed a seal and pointed forward. A black flame suddenly appeared in his hand. With a flick, the flame shot out and split into countless sparks that immediately surrounded the area. His family members had already retreated and were watching from a distance. The celestial puppet didn't mind the sparks at all and let them land on its body. Not only did it not slow down, it moved even faster. The punch whistled through the air and with a step it arrived before the old man. The punch broke through space and shot toward the old man. The old man's expression changed slightly and he immediately retreated. At the same time, his hand formed a seal and a flame shield immediately appeared in front of his body. The celestial guard's punch landed on the flame shield, creating a loud explosion. Cracks immediately appeared on the flame shield and then it collapsed. As the sound echoed, the old man retreated with a pale face. The celestial guard was also pushed back several steps. There was a black flame burning its arm and slowly spreading over its body. "I only want a thunder furnace." Wang Lin calmly looked at the old man. The old man stared at Wang Lin. The punch from the puppet shocked him greatly. Unless he used origin spells, it would be impossible for him to defeat the puppet that was similar to his cultivation level. For this person to have such a puppet, he must not be ordinary. Even if he is impersonating a messenger of the Thunder Celestial Temple, it has nothing to do with me. It's just. If I were to just hand over a thunder furnace, then all of my Zhong family's face will be lost. The old man was in a difficult situation. If Wang Lin had reached the second step, then perhaps the old man would have just handed one over. After all, the family had obtained 3 thunder furnaces, so giving one away as a gift wasn't an issue. However, Wang Lin was only at the peak of the late stage of Ascendant. If he were to just directly surrender one, then he would lose all face. Wang Lin didn't want to deal with this nonsense. Although this person's cultivation level was outside his expectations, the old man had just entered the illusory yin stage and was not stable. With Wang Lin's peak late-stage ascendant cultivation, along with his spells and treasures, battling this old man was not difficult. He slapped his bag of holding and a mountain stone immediately appeared in his hand. The stone immediately became a large mountain. It gave off rich celestial spiritual energy along with a hint of pressure. Wang Lin's right hand pressed on it and the mountain immediately trembled. Then an ancient aura gathered below his right hand. When he raised his hand, strands of fog gathered to form a fist-sized cloud of fog. At the moment the old man saw this, his expression changed greatly. Without any hesitation and with horror in his eyes, he exclaimed, "Soul extraction spell. You're only at the peak of the first step, how can you use a spell like this?" Wang Lin's gaze was calm as his right hand pushed forward and the fog immediately flew out with a powerful pressure toward the old man. At the same time, Wang Lin charged out, following closely after the fog. He raised his right hand and a bolt of thunder gathered in his hand. The roar of thunder suddenly came from the stars and in a flash, a real bolt of thunder formed in Wang Lin's hand. Right now Wang Lin was like a celestial that controlled thunder and lightning. With the lightning in hand, his eyes were cold as he walked toward the old man. The old man's expression changed greatly and he retreated once more. Both of his hands formed a seal and pointed between his eyebrows. The spot between his eyebrows began to move strangely and a gap immediately formed as if there was a third eye. His third eye became crimson as the blood in his whole body rapidly circulated and seemed to have condensed on his face. The origin energy in his body also moved like crazy and gathered between his eyebrows along with his blood. Doing all of this made him feel as if he was being torn apart. The moment the large amount of pain filled his body, a third eye slowly opened between his brows. The old man let out a roar as he stared at Wang Lin. Then both of his hands formed a seal and pointed at the 2 pressure points below his ears. In an instant, the third eye between his eyebrows suddenly opened. A red light came from inside it and spread out like a fan. Wang Lin's expression changed. This person's spell was simply too strange, so he decided to slow down a bit. At this moment, the mountain soul closed in, and at the same time, the third eye opened. Within the red light, the mountain soul began to rapidly disintegrate. This caused Wang Lin's eyes to narrow and he threw the bolt of thunder in his hand without any hesitation. The bolt of thunder charged straight at the old man. The old man was unable to use the origin spell at its full power, because he had just reached the illusory yin stage 2 years ago and was lacking in origin energy. Due to this, the red light from the third eye only lasted 3 breaths of time before he could no longer bear it. The third eye automatically closed and dissipated. As the lightning and the mountain soul that wasn't completely disintegrated closed in, the old man clenched his teeth. He then took something out from his bag of holding and raised it above his head. Wang Lin's left hand reached out and took the thing in the old man's hand. This object was the thunder furnace. After putting away the thunder furnace, Wang Lin didn't leave. His eyes gazed off a strange light as he looked at the old man and slowly asked, "Would you exchange the spell you just used with me?" The old man coldly snorted before he retreated and said, "I just stepped into the illusory yin stage 2 years ago. If I had a few more years, then no matter how much more treasures you have, you wouldn't be this old man's match." Wang Lin withdrew the scattered mountain soul and calmly said, "I'm talking with you about exchanging this spell." The old man sneered. "Don't even think about it. You already took the thunder furnace, now leave quickly." Wang Lin's eyes narrowed, then he raised his right hand and a ray of black light immediately shot out. The moment the black light appeared, the old man felt like his life force was about to be drained. The black light charged out directly toward the cultivation planet and immediately disappeared. However, the old man's divine sense closely followed it and saw the black light land on a plain. The vegetation on the plain immediately withered before turning into countless strands of vitality that flew out from the cultivation planet and entered Wang Lin's body. Wang Lin calmly said, "This spell is named Finger of Death." The old man snorted and said, "If I hadn't reached the illusory yin stage, then it would have barely caught my eye, but right now it is worthless." Although he said this, in his heart he was secretly shocked at how tyrannical it was. He wasn't interested in the spell's power but in its ability to absorb vitality. Wang Lin's right hand pointed once more and a demonic aura appeared around his fingertip. It shot out like a bullet and stopped before the old man. This spell is the demonic finger. It turns celestial spiritual energy into demonic energy. When used with the finger of death, its effect is even better. The old man stared at the black aura before him and began to ponder. He lifted his right hand and immediately caught it with his hand before scanning it with his divine sense. After a long time, he looked at Wang Lin and slowly said, "Rumor has it that people from planet Dongling are good at demonic aura spells. So you are from planet Dongling. However, this spell is still worthless." Wang Lin pondered a bit. Back then, what Sichu Nan cared most about was the underworld finger. The old man was startled and his heart was filled with disbelief. Even though the spell had defects, it wasn't something Wang Lin could use for an exchange. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he raised his right hand and slowly said, "This final spell is something I learned from a Nirvana Shatterer senior. If you still don't find it interesting, then forget about this matter." Wang Lin's mind gave a command and then the celestial guard behind him turned into a ray of golden light and charged toward the cultivation planet. The puppet's movement caused the old man's expression to sink. Shortly after, the celestial guard returned with a fierce beast in its hands. The beast looked extremely ferocious and its whole body was covered in thorns. It had the arm of a mortal in its mouth. Apparently, it was eating when the celestial guard caught it. Wang Lin's 2 fingers from his right hand formed a sword. He hadn't used the celestial slaughter art in a long time. The countless strands of slaughter energy he condensed back then were placed inside the puppet and were all consumed in a battle. However, Wang Lin still had a profound understanding of the celestial slaughter art. After all, he had cultivated the spell for more than 100 years. At this moment, he focused for a moment and sword energy gathered in his finger. The ray of sword energy shot out into the beast and the beast immediately let out a miserable groan. The old man's eyes suddenly widened as the beast quickly withered and turned into a skeleton. A strand of grey gas came out from the beast's corpse and wrapped around Wang Lin's fingers. Wang Lin flicked his finger and the grey gas flew out. He then pointed at it, causing it to immediately change into a life seal and fly toward the old man. This spell is named the Celestial Slaughter Art. The old man was moved. His right hand reached out and grabbed the seal. His divine sense carefully examined the seal. The more he examined it, the more shocked he became. In the end, his eyes were glowing. With his cultivation, he was almost immediately able to see through the celestial slaughter art. The life seal obviously had a certain protective element, and the grey gas had offensive capabilities. Although it wasn't powerful, this spell could obviously be used many times and could be stored. This life seal is formed from the celestial slaughter art. It involves relying on slaughter to gather vitality and surrounding one with vitality to form life seals. The more life seals there are, the more powerful the defense will be. Back then, the senior who taught me the spell said that if one had 1 trillion life seals protecting them, then even if the cultivation planet collapsed, one would still be safe and sound. Wang Lin wasn't lying. This was exactly what the grey-robed all-seer told him. For the first time, the old man's expression revealed hesitation. It was obvious that this celestial slaughter art had moved him. With his insight, he could naturally see how powerful the celestial slaughter art was and that it was not something ordinary cultivators could get a hold of. There was a certain credibility that this was learned from a Nirvana Shatterer senior. However, this third eye spell was a family inheritance, so it couldn't be casually taught to outsiders. The origin of the spell was unknown. It seemed to be something his ancestors had accidentally obtained. If it was the Alliance star system, a family like his would never be able to keep the spell to themselves. However, in the All-Heaven star system, where families held power, almost each clan had inherited something, and those things were not easily taken. What was more important was that he was the first person to successfully learn it after his family had obtained it. Wang Lin waited for a moment. After seeing that the old man was still hesitating, he waved his sleeves and stepped toward the Thunder Beast. He then said, "Since fellow cultivator is still unwilling, then let's forget this matter." With that, the Thunder Beast under him turned into a bolt of thunder and flew off into the distance with the celestial puppet following closely after. The life seal in the old man's hand collapsed and became ash. As it dissipated, a wave was set off in the old man's heart. It felt like it should have been his spell and it just was stolen away. Upon seeing Wang Lin disappearing into the distance, the old man's expression changed. He clenched his teeth and shouted, "Fellow cultivator, stop. I'll trade it for the celestial slaughter art along with the finger of death and demonic finger." Wang Lin stopped. The Thunder Beast let out a roar and turned around. It stopped 100 feet from the old man. Lightning came out of its nose and its eyes were filled with disdain. The old man clenched his teeth and said, "Exchange. This old man agrees to your exchange, but you have to promise not to spread it to others." Wang Lin nodded. Without wasting any time, he took out 3 pieces of jade. After recording the details of the 3 spells, Wang Lin threw them out, not fearing that the old man would back out. The old man looked through them. Although his expression was neutral, he admired Wang Lin's actions in his heart. He also took out a jade and recorded the method for the third eye spell before throwing it at Wang Lin. However, he schemed and made a few alterations. If one cultivated according to this, there will be great hidden dangers in the future. Wang Lin caught the jade and examined it. He secretly tried the spell and even spent painstaking effort to compare it to the moment when the third eye activated. He was immediately able to see through the issues, but he didn't point them out and simply nodded. Looking at the elder, Wang Lin felt somewhat bad. After all, he had gotten a great deal in this transaction. After hesitating a bit, he said, "Fellow cultivator, it is best not to cultivate more than 100,000 strands of slaughter energy, or else there might be great danger." After he said that, he immediately left as if he was in a rush to leave. The old man was startled before looking down at the jade in his hand. After pondering for a moment, he quickly returned to the cultivation planet with the others and then immediately went into close-door cultivation. He had cultivate as much as possible so that he would be prepared for when the Thunder Celestial Realm opened in 1 month. Wang Lin sat on the back of the Thunder Beast with a strange expression on his face. He shook his head and said, "Trading 3 spells with problems for a spell with a hint of the third step seems a bit too much." A bit too much. Wang Lin looked at the jade in his hand and a smile appeared on his face. The old man only treated it as an ordinary spell. Even if he cared about it, it was only to a certain extent. However, Wang Lin felt that this spell was extremely powerful as it contained a trace of returning to the origin. If Wang Lin had not seen the third step, he wouldn't have seen the potential of this spell. He suppressed the excitement in his heart and carefully examined the jade. Wang Lin didn't care about the mistake left by the old man. As long as he had enough time, he could fix the mistake. This was a lot simpler than fixing the 3 other spells. The Thunder Beast rushed through the stars extremely quickly. Its target was Wang Lin's cultivation planet, Qing Lin. The cultivators of Qing Lin felt lucky that the eccentric senior with special interests had finally left. However, only a few months later, it became oppressive again as that senior with the special interests had returned. The area with 5,000 kilometers of Hengyun Peak became a restricted area once more, so no one dared to take half a step inside. After returning to his own cultivation planet, Wang Lin spent his time studying and fixing this third eye spell. He also slowly attempted to control it. More than half a month quickly passed. On this sunny day, there were no clouds in the sky and the sky was very blue. The gentle breeze carried with it a sense of warmth. Wang Lin stood at the Hengyun Peak with the thunder furnace in his hand. This furnace was only the size of his hand and thunder moved through it. Their movement of the thunder created crisp sounds. A subtle gap would occasionally appear and disappear between his eyebrows, giving off red light. At this moment, he looked extremely strange. No one would believe that he was a righteous cultivator. No matter how one looked, there was a trace of evil about him. All this was due to the gap between his eyebrows. Not long after, thunderclouds appeared in the blue sky. These clouds appeared abruptly without any signs. The sky was blue before and then it was immediately covered by the clouds. Bursts of thunder moved within the clouds and gave off a series of rumbles. At the same time, the thunder furnace in Wang Lin's hand seemed to respond and the thundercloud grew denser. Just at this moment, a thick bolt of thunder descended from the clouds toward Wang Lin. As Wang Lin stared at the thunder, his eyes revealed a strange light. He knew that as long as the thunder hit the thunder furnace, he would be guided through the void toward the thunder celestial realm. However, he withdrew the thunder furnace. "This is celestial thunder." Wang Lin muttered to himself, then the strange light in his eyes became stranger. His next move was unprecedented in the countless times the thunder celestial realm had opened. When the thunder celestial realm opens, it produces celestial thunder. The celestial thunder acts as a guide and anyone with a thunder furnace will be led to the thunder celestial realm. As for why it was like this, no one knew. It was as if it had always been like this. Some powerful cultivators wanted to search for an answer, but no matter how hard they searched, they ultimately still found no answers. Over time, people stopped looking for the cause of this. They all knew that as long as they had a thunder furnace, they could enter the thunder celestial realm. At this moment, the celestial thunder arrived the moment Wang Lin put the thunder furnace away. The thunder had not yet landed, but the rumble could be heard. Wang Lin's eyes revealed a strange light and his origin soul operated like crazy. Bursts of thunder came from his body and even spread to the outside world. The current him was like a master of thunder and lightning. At the moment the thunder descended, Wang Lin's body charged out like a meteor. He opened his mouth and devoured the thunder without any hesitation. It was like magnificent sight. After he devoured it, the wind and clouds changed and the entire world seemed to dim. The originally bright thunder was devoured by Wang Lin. The loud series of thunderous rumbles quickly turned into muffled roars coming out from Wang Lin's body. Wang Lin's body trembled when he swallowed the thunder, and he had the illusion that he was hit by a punch from an ancient god. He directly fell from the sky like a broken kite and smashed toward the ground with a rumbling coming out of his body. At the moment his body landed on the ground, a large amount of thunder came out from his body and spread out. In an instant, the area with 5 kilometers of him was surrounded in a thunderstorm. There was nothing but a large pit in the ground. Explosions kept going off inside Wang Lin's body and the force of the thunder smashed his body deeper into the pit. His whole body kept discharging intense amounts of thunder and his eyes were shut tight. His origin soul was absorbing the celestial thunder like crazy. The thunder origin spell was also active, absorbing the origin energy from within the thunder. This scene was like the thunder lake within the asteroid field. The thunder in the sky echoed within the clouds as if the majesty of the celestial thunder couldn't be challenged. After the arrival of the celestial thunder, the clouds in the sky showed signs of dissipating and began to disappear. At this moment, deep inside the pit, Wang Lin suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes exposed powerful thunder and also a hint of excitement. He licked his lips. The origin energy within the celestial thunder was extremely rich. It was several times more dense than the origin energy from the Thunder Lake. He had already reached the limit in the amount of origin energy he could store due to his cultivation. However, this excess origin energy had caused his previous situation to change. He quickly moved and charged out from the pit. At the same time, he slapped his bag of holding and the thunder furnace appeared in his hand once more. The moment the thunder furnace appeared, the dissipated thunder clouds stopped and condensed once more. Then another bolt of celestial thunder descended. Wang Lin laughed and put away the thunder furnace. Although that last bolt of celestial thunder had left his entire body aching and his origin soul was barely holding on, the amount of origin energy inside it was unimaginable. If other cultivators saw Wang Lin's current actions, they would be dumbfounded. This kind of action could only be described as crazy. Devouring celestial thunder. When the second bolt of celestial thunder arrived, Wang Lin's body was floating in mid-air and thunder was rumbling out from his body. Thunder moved around his whole body as the bolt of celestial thunder descended. Wang Lin charged out without any hesitation and devoured it. A sound that shocked the entire planet echoed across the planet and the entire planet trembled. This time, the moment his body hit the ground, he immediately sat down in the lotus position. His entire body was trembling violently. There wasn't enough time for Wang Lin to absorb it. After the two bolts of thunder, the clouds seemed unstable and were quickly dissipating. This time it was dissipating several times faster than before. A green light came out of Wang Lin's head while he was sitting in the lotus position. The moment the green light appeared, a blue mist came out as well and Wang Lin's origin soul came out from his body. The moment his origin soul appeared, the thunder furnace came out from his bag as well. His origin soul absorbed the thunder furnace and then rushed toward the clouds. The quickly dissipating thundercloud issued a few unwilling bursts. It then stopped dissipating and condensed once more. However, it seemed angry this time as it gathered almost all the thunder and formed a bolt of celestial thunder much more powerful than the previous two. This thunder descended with a heaven-shattering rumble. At the moment the thunder descended, all of the thunder clouds were sucked into the thunder. From a distance, it didn't look like a bolt of thunder at all but a huge vortex instead. The vortex was formed by the thunder clouds with the third bolt of thunder at the bottom. A loud rumble echoed across the planet. None the cultivators dared to spread out their divine sense at this moment. All of the mortals, even the tyrants in the market and the experts of the martial arts world that didn't believe in cultivators, knelt on the ground, praying like devoted followers. Wang Lin's origin soul floated in the sky and stared at the terrifying thunder. He couldn't help but reveal a wry smile. It seems it has gotten out of hand. Watching the thunder descend, Wang Lin's origin soul moved and quickly elongated until it looked incredibly similar to the ancient thunder dragon. After letting out a roar, Wang Lin's origin soul rushed out and devoured the thunder. However, he only devoured half before quickly retreating. The celestial thunder let out an angry rumble and angrily chased after Wang Lin. His origin soul moved extremely quickly toward the ground and threw out the thunder furnace. Then his origin soul returned back into his body, and as he opened his eyes, his right hand grabbed the thunder furnace. The thunder chasing after him seemed to let out a reluctant roar as it landed on the thunder furnace. Even the intense vortex that followed the thunder also landed on the thunder furnace. The thunder furnace flashed like crazy. It was so intense that even Wang Lin's right hand felt numb. Even when he held lightning, he wouldn't feel this kind of numbness. This just shows how terrifying the thunder was. At this moment, the thunder vortex above the thunder furnace rapidly rotated and absorbed everything inside. From afar, it looked like the entire world was going to be absorbed by the furnace. Someone who didn't understand anything would think that this furnace was a top-quality treasure because it seemed like would absorb the world. In almost an instant, the huge vortex entered the thunder vortex. As the vortex disappeared, the thunder furnace gave off crackling sounds and a crack appeared on it, This was the first time a crack had appeared on a thunder furnace since the thunder celestial realm opened. This kind of phenomenon had never happened before over the countless years. The amount of thunder furnaces was always the same and they could not be destroyed or lost. Every time the thunder celestial realm opened, they would appear from the void and then return to the void. When they reappeared again, it would always be the same amount. However, right now it seemed like all of this was going to change. Wang Lin's face was filled with a bitter smile. He really felt like he had overdone it. He didn't know if he would be affected if the thunder furnace collapsed. Maybe it would prevent him from entering the thunder celestial realm. It should not collapse. This thunder furnace is something from the thunder celestial realm after all. As Wang Lin stared dumbfoundedly at the thunder furnace absorbing all of the thunder clouds, more and more cracks appeared on it until it finally shattered. A thunderous echo echoed across the heavens and earth, forming a giant storm on planet Qingling. The thunder furnace shattered into countless fragments and each fragment had thunder connecting them together. Wang Lin let out a breath of relief. As long as the fragments were there was a chance to fix this. However, the moment the fragments split, they collapsed once more. This time the fragments shattered into dust. This was the first thunder furnace that had collapsed since the thunder celestial realm opened. From this day onwards, no matter how many times the thunder celestial realm opened, it will forever be short one thunder furnace and an entry will be lost for eternality. This was the first time this kind of thing had happened in countless years. As for what would happen afterwards, no one knew. The thunder furnaces were originally indestructible. Breaking one was even very difficult for people at the second step. Even if someone could do it, they wouldn't because it would gain them no advantage and have an extremely negative impact on the system. Wang Lin's bitter smile became even stronger. The moment thunder furnace shattered, all of the thunder inside it exploded forth. An unimaginably powerful thunder gushed out and surrounded Wang Lin. This thunder pulled him toward the sky at an extremely fast speed. This speed was too fast, as if it was trying to tear his body apart. Others would take the thunder furnace and be led toward the thunder celestial realm, so their speed was relatively slow. Wang Lin's thunder furnace had absorbed the entire thundercloud to the point that the furnace itself couldn't withstand it anymore, so naturally his speed was several times faster. In almost an instant, this crazy thunder broke through the void and disappeared along with Wang Lin. His speed was almost indescribable, as if time was passing by in the blink of an eye. This space was clearly different from normal space. Wang Lin wasn't able to see his surroundings at all before he flashed by. There were many cultivators from the All-Heaven star system on the road to the Thunder Celestial Realm. They didn't have to fly on their own and were automatically being pulled by the thunder furnaces toward the Celestial Gate to wait for the gate to open. This video will end here.